Hey guys, so today we do a 2-inch lift on the Hilux. Alright, so hopefully I'll be able to get through this whole thing today, but only took 2 or 3 hours last time I did it, but it was my knees are playing up more than usual. Yeah, but the most important one at the moment is just getting the back springs in, because yeah, towing the van, the springs that are on it, they literally just banana backwards, something shocking. I'll try and show you once the wheel's off where they sit normally, and they go absolutely shocking once you put weight on the back. But at this point, we have about 935 mil to the guards. I know the question you're asking, but Damo, why are you not using the hoist? Because of this. So the Hilux is just fits, but I think with the tyres and the new lift, you know, the new lift will take a bit to settle down. I'd have to let the tyres down to get it back out. So we're just doing it as we've always done it, on the bloody driveway. Now, I'm just going to say it, I know it doesn't need to be said, but when you're jacking the back up and you're on a bit of a slope like I am, chock your tyres, your front wheels. Whether it's a brick or an actual chock, just do it.
Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little and we...
Okay, so these, so all the weight's on the diff. So it's just, this is how it sits. And as you can see, the springs, I mean, it's got the drawers and some stuff in the back, but it hasn't got a caravan on the back. It's literally completely straight. So, quite possibly I didn't get the right weight. Yeah, the right weight for the springs. Maybe I got some lightweight ones, I don't know. But they definitely didn't hold up. Got the wheels under, always put your wheels and tyres under the car. When you're under there, just as like a second or third bit of safety, thought I'd check. Although, should have checked before I jacked the whole bloody thing up. But here's the kit. And it's missing the rubber shackles. So I can't actually put them in. Which sucks. It's delayed that for a week, so I was hoping to get this this all done. I might actually be able to swing it around and do the front springs instead of the starting off with the rear. I have to do the rear next week. Absolute pain in the ass. Okay. So that hiccup, we're going to start on the front instead of the back. So we'll go a bit of a baseline. I don't think the fronts are as bad as the back, but they're say 925. Maybe it's 920. About 15 mil lower than the fronts, which being a ute, you know. It's generally the go because you're carrying weight, but I'm hoping it lifts the front a bit as well. Okay, so thought I'd take you through the springs that I bought. So we've got in the rear springs, now I did a bit of looking around, and you've got the Dobinsons and the yeah, sort of in the price range I was after. I didn't want to spend an absolute fortune. You know, I figured around the $1,000–1,200. You know, the car's not used all the time. Should do the job. Yeah, I was looking at the remote reservoir shocks, but you're looking at $2,500 for that kit. You know, I did a bit of research, so I ended up going the EFS rear springs. So this was a kit. From the research I've done, and I'd upgraded to the greasable shackles, and I've got the 400 kilo constant springs. One of the reasons I went EFS, from the research I did, it's an Australian company, bunch of engineers, used to work at some major spring manufacturer, weren't happy, got together, started their own business. Yeah, they've supposedly, again, done a lot of R&D on, in Australian conditions. So I figured you can't go wrong. And for the front, I've gone good old King Springs. Now, I don't know how King Springs are going to go in a four-wheel drive. I've had King Springs ever since my VL Turbo days. So back 90, mid 90s. I've had King Springs in my cars. I've had King Springs in the wagon back here. I had King Springs in another wagon I had, Prem wagon. They were ultra low, fantastic stance, and never had a problem with them. King Springs, well, the ad said anyway, King Springs have a lifetime warranty. Can't go wrong with a lifetime warranty. So if they do sag, get them replaced. The main reason this kit is cheaper is the shock absorbers. Now I've gone the Webco, not, from what I can tell, not the best, but they do have a 3-year 100,000 kilometre warranty. So I figure if they're willing to warranty their shocks for 100,000 Ks, I definitely won't do 100,000 Ks in 3 years. Maybe. Anyway, I figured even if I get the 3 years or 100,000 Ks out of them and I upgrade at a later date to something a little fancier, there's what it is. But for now, I think the whole kit cost me $1,200, including the rubber bushes, or the bushes that didn't turn up. So I'll hopefully they'll turn up this week, but I think I've got everything for the front. So I should be able to put them together and put them in, and then we'll do the rear next week. All right, so that's a rundown of the springs I got and why I got them. The springs that I had in it, or have in it at the moment, are X-Rocks. They're X-Rocks. As I said previously when I showed you the rear spring, possibly I just didn't get a high enough rated X-Rocks, leaf spring. So that's why it sagged like it did. But as I said, the front do seem fine. They were X-Rocks shocks as well in the back, and one blue. I think the front shocks are fine, and the height hasn't sagged too much. We'll find out once I chuck these in. No doubt there'll be a bit of settling to do anyway. But so we'll get started on the front. I'm not gonna lie, don't remember it being that hard last time, and I might have done some dodgy shit last time, so it made it a bit easier. But we've removed the two control arm joints, and she's out.
I messed messed up again, 'cause we're doing everything wrong. I don't know and I don't understand. When we fight somehow we always make up, threatened by a breakup. Is this how we're gonna fade it out? 'Cause we are the way we are, we'll never change. Yes, we've been here before. 'Cause we scream, fight, hate, cry. No one's ever backing down. Yeah, we do it. Everything wrong. Yeah, we ruin everything. When we push, slam, through, damn, we're hurting, but we're just too scared. So we do it. Everything wrong. Yeah, we ruin everything. Everything's tough. You and I so different yet alike. We are always on the edge when we love. Our hearts are open wide. But when we hate, it's like a big explosion, shaking our devotion. How we ever gonna figure out how to be without defeating ourselves? It's going on too long.
One thing you need to do before you pull them off is just mark where it is. Now, I got a wheel alignment when I did the last 2-inch lift, so if this is sagged, it was probably out of wheel alignment, so I'm hoping going back to a 2-inch lift where it was last time, where it was wheel aligned, it should go back exactly the same spot. So, but generally if you're going from standard to a 2-inch lift, definitely go get a wheel alignment.
Starting over every time, again and again, and no one's ever backing down. Yeah, we do it. Everything wrong. Yeah, we ruin everything. Yeah, we do it. Everything.
Okay, and there you go. All on the floor of the bloody driveway. She's in, wangled, tightened up. Wheel on. Job done.
Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little, and we keep track of time, being so serious, idiots.
Probably kind of good of I could only do the front today and then the rest next week because I'm rooted. So there's the front. I've got to go for a quick spin just to settle it down, so hopefully it doesn't drop down too much more than that. But she's all in. So I had a bit of a struggle. I thought that one was going to be a lot easier, but I couldn't line the bloody thing up. Anyway, that's the front, and it'll take a week for me to get to the back. But anyway, you'll see the back in a second. 2 weeks later. Told you it'd just be a couple of seconds for you guys. So here we are. 2 weeks later, a bit of a drama getting the bushes, but they didn't have a problem getting them to me. They just weren't in a hurry to, no sense of urgency. So anyway, everything is back up and jacked up. Here's the springs and the shocks. Fingers crossed. Only takes a couple of hours.
Morning comes and night messed up again, 'cause we're doing everything wrong. I don't know and I don't understand. When we fight somehow we always make up, threatened by a breakup. Is this how we're gonna fade it out? 'Cause we are the way we are, we'll never change. Yes, we've been here before. 'Cause we scream, fight, hate, cry. No one's ever backing down. Yeah, we do it. Everything wrong. Yeah, we ruin everything. When we push, slam, through, damn, we're hurting, but we're just too scared.
Pretty much everything's off. unbolted anyway. One thing you've got to watch out for is the brake line. I don't want to have to take it off, but what I've done, and you got to be careful here as well, because these are all hard lines, but they're all, it just gives it just that little bit extra. I think if I remember last time, it's a standard length brake line. With 2-inch you can get away with that, but you know, anything bigger you got to go a longer brake line. Also, we'll go through the auto adjuster thing after we've put it back together. But yeah, all the bolts are undone. Now I've just got to drop everything down long enough to get all the stress off the springs and the shackles, and then pretty sure I said it before, too old for this shit. Just got to get all the tension off the springs, and then they should just slip out, and we'll slip the new ones in. Happy days. Everything's balancing pretty precariously, but it's out. And this, the old spring and the new spring. You can definitely see the last spring there is thicker than the fourth one on here, and this one's definitely a lot thicker than well, both of them. So fingers crossed this will do the job. Okay, so I almost used the old U-bolts, but you can see the new ones need cutting, and I thought I'd get away with the old ones, but the nut didn't go. It only went about 80% on. I didn't want to risk it, so I'm doing the hard yards, chopping them all up. I've done it. Just got to put the wheels back on, and I tell you, things taking a hell of a lot longer nowadays. I'm a bit older, but it's on. There we go. The new springs, the new shocks. Remember to do up all the bolts. And happy days. Where I was going here, there's the brake line, the flexible brake line. Probably, you know, if you wanted to do it, is chuck a longer one on at full travel. It's pretty, I mean, it's tight. It's not pulling on it, but it's pretty tight. Another thing as well, if you're going from standard to a 2-inch plus lift, well, 2-inch lift anyway, this is down here somewhere at standard, and it's the brake bias. So if you load it up and it you know, drops down, then you've got that little valve up there that adjusts. I think it gives the back a little more brakes. But yeah, so you adjust that as high as it will go. If you've got if you do like a 3-inch plus lift, you need to replace this for a longer one. So that is it. Tyres on, take it for a spin, let it settle a bit and see how much higher it is.
Morning comes and I messed up again, 'cause we're doing everything wrong. I don't know and I don't understand. When we fight somehow we always make up, threatened by a break.
980. Don't even remember where it was before. I think it was like 35, was it? Anyway, I'll check back on the video, see how we went.
'Cause we scream, fight, hate, cry. No one's ever backing down. Yeah, we do it.
Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hit like and subscribe, and we've got a few more things to do on the Hilux over the coming months. And as always, get in the shed.
So we